The Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs in India, Anurag Thakur, has stumped the Pakistan Cricket Board with his response on the ongoing saga over the Asia Cup. Thakur has said, and I quote, "India will not be dictated by anyone." Now, this statement comes in response to the PCB's tit-for-tat threat. They had indicated that Pakistan will not be participating in the 2023 World Cup to be played in India if India does not travel to Pakistan to play the Asia Cup. Anurag Thakur has said that the final call on Team India's travel to Pakistan will be taken by the Home Ministry as there are security concerns involved in Pakistan. He has also said that India is in a position where it does not need to listen to anyone. He added that all teams will be invited for the World Cup. Those who want to come can come. Those who don't, well, too bad.
BCCI का विषय है, BCCI इस पर टिप्पणी करेगा। भारत तो खेलों की एक ऐसी भूमि है जहां एक नहीं कई विश्व कप का आयोजन किया गया। अगले साल विश्व कप भी होगा और दुनिया भर की टीमें भी खेलेंगी, क्योंकि भारत को आज कोई किसी क्षेत्र में नकार नहीं सकता। भारत के यहाँ पर खेलों को और विशेष तौर पर क्रिकेट जगत भारत के अलावा क्या है। भारत का एक बहुत बड़ा योगदान है क्रिकेट जगत में, और क्रिकेट का आयोजन विश्व कप का भारत में हो, भव्य भी होगा, ऐतिहासिक भी होगा।
Let me get our guests in for a very quick chat. They're joining us from both parts of the border. Karan Ambardar is a sports analyst joining us on the broadcast. Shakil Shaikh is a former member of the Pakistan Cricket Board. He is with us on the broadcast as well. And Vedam Jaishankar is a sports journalist. He is joining us. Shakil Saab, I'm coming to you first. India's sports minister has made it very clear. Aana hai to aiye, nahi to mat aiye. You cannot dictate us. Pakistan simply cannot dictate us because of the fact that there are security concerns when it comes for any international team, including Team India, to travel to Pakistan. We all know what had happened to the Sri Lankan team. We don't want that repeated with the Indian team. And the Indian team, I would imagine, in Pakistan is much more vulnerable. So we will take a political decision, and we have actually taken a political decision about this.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. First of all, it's a political statement. I repeat it. Secondly, Anurag Thakur's statement that we will not be dictated by anyone. Yes, Pakistan is not dictating anything. The decision of allotting Asia Cup was made in the Asian Cricket Council meeting chaired by Mr. Jay Shah, the president of the ACC. Once a decision has been taken, preparations were certainly underway in Pakistan, though the Asia Cup will be held next year. So there was no dictation. Might be Anurag Thakur is not well informed, though he is a sports minister, but I understand what I in Pakistan understand, that BCCI is an autonomous independent body. Though it takes guidance, it takes advice on security issue or some kind of player security relating to visiting neighboring country or other cricket playing countries. That is their right. But he can't say that Pakistan is dictating. Pakistan is not dictating anything. Pakistan is simply saying that whatever right you have given to us for hosting Asia Cup, it must be hosted by Pakistan in Pakistan. That is the only position. And when Mr. Jay Shah has announced that Indian team will not travel down to Pakistan for playing Asia Cup, and Asia Cup will be shifted to a neutral venue, that is the triggering point where Pakistan reacted in a very soft manner that this statement is not only surprising, but this statement is disappointing fans in Pakistan, Pakistani people, Pakistani cricket board and everything. That is the simple position. And they have also said that if India will not come to Pakistan for Asia Cup, certainly its impact will be on the next year World Cup in India. That is not a dictation. That may be a several options for that. Pakistan is just saying or just responding to Indian call. Anurag Thakur is a sports union minister for sports, I think, and he has said that the Interior Ministry or the Home Ministry of India will take the final decision whether Indian team should go to Pakistan for playing Asia Cup or not. My point is simple. Pakistan is safe. Several teams are coming to Pakistan. When a reporter asked Anurag Thakur that Australians English team West Indies had traveled down to Pakistan for playing full series. He deflected the question. He has not answered the question. That is the key point,
Karan?
that he has avoided or evaded the
Okay.
answer.
Okay. Okay, but you know the fact is, Shakil Saab, that we are not Australia or New Zealand. Pakistan is not
Absolutely.
sponsoring terror in Australia and New Zealand. Pakistan is sponsoring terror in India, and we need to be extra cautious. And we have taken a principled stand, and that has been our stand for the last 10 years. There is no reason why we will change it in 2023. But Karan, just come in here and respond to what Shakil Saab is saying, that Pakistan Cricket Board's reaction has been actually a very mild one. We are not dictating to anyone. The ACC decided that the 2023 hosting rights for the Asia Cup will go to Pakistan. We were preparing for it, and suddenly you turn up and say, India will not travel? How is this us dictating terms? You are the ones stumping and surprising us.
You know, for starters, I'm sorry to say, Shakil Saab, unfortunately, you're not in a position to dictate terms. So the fact that you're not dictating is not a very nice thing you're doing. You're not in a position to dictate terms. It's you're talking about cricket and you're competing with BCCI. And that's a might that you cannot defeat, unfortunately, currently, as your PCB is the kind of state it is. Now, coming to the fact that why was the allocation done? Well, there was a chance maybe given in the future, knowing that your behavior, the country's behavior will change. Maybe they will mend their ways. Maybe the relationships will be figured out between the two countries. There was hope given by nations, neighboring nations of Pakistan, and hence they were given the rights to host the Asia Cup. Unfortunately, things haven't changed, is why the country's decision is, the government's decision rather, is that we will not be traveling. And it's very simple. Look, the relationship between the two countries, the state-sponsored terrorism from Pakistan towards India, I mean, why should we go and contribute to Pakistan's economy? Why should we do that? I mean, it's not needed. We're going to hit you wherever it hits you the most, which is your economy currently right now. And that's exactly what the Indian government is doing. I call it sports diplomacy. Very well played.
Very well played. You're calling it sports diplomacy. Vedam Jaishankar, where do you stand on this? The PCB and the BCCI have been feuding. Pakistan says, we may not show up for the World Cup in India in 2023. My question is, whose loss will that be? Certainly not India's.
Shreya, I'm just coming back after a discussion with Roger Binny, the new BCCI president. And he was very clear when he said, for any team coming into India or any team going out of India, you need the government clearance. He says as simple as that. It's not just Pakistan specific. But in this case, I would say it is Pakistan specific. Because look, with 2024 elections coming, you don't want to go there and get into a mess. Because Pakistan is, honestly, it's not a clean place. It's like Karan said, it's an exporter of terrorism. And the last thing we need is to play with terrorists. We don't need to play with that. And Pakistan must realize that they need to mend its ways. And I'm surprised at Ramiz Raja. He is speaking so stridently. I mean, look at their condition. The PCB is in a pathetic position. If at all, it needs India's support, and it should speak and talk in such a way that India would be willing to support it. If India refuses to play it everywhere, then I think it's Pakistan which is in deep trouble and not India. For them to say that they will hit back and not come for the World Cup, I mean, it's a joke. We don't need them. You know, the Asia Cup will not take place if India does not go. I mean, who would want to watch, let's say, Bangladesh playing Sri Lanka or Pakistan playing Sri Lanka? Nobody would want to watch it. It would be a disaster, whether it's on television or live. Unless India is there, Asia Cup is not Asia Cup. And the same goes with the World Cup. It's a joke for Pakistan to say that they will not come. They will come. Whether you are there, even if you don't want it, they'll ask, please allow us to come. Because they are in such a pathetic position. But they need to get a reality check and see where they stand, instead of dashing out these kind of empty threats, and plead and be on the good books of India, not get into all this kind of nonsense. You know, they played a card, and they've been playing the card for the last 70 years, and it's drawing less and less dividends. Virtually, it's going to draw no dividends. So if they change, if they get onto the right side of India, they stand to gain, not lose. Here, they are the losers. And the sooner they accept that and do a reality check on that, the better for them and their cricket and their environment.
Okay, Vedam, we leave it there for the moment. This was a quick chat. I'm glad everyone got a say. Karan, thank you very much for joining us. Shakil Saab joining us from Pakistan and Vedam joining us here from India. Thank you very much for joining us. I did earlier manage to speak to Kirti Azad, a former cricketer and, of course, someone who knows the BCCI inside out. Listen into my conversation with him. Mr. Azad, what is your view of this BCCI versus PCB battle that has now been raging on for the last 72 hours?
First of all, terror and talks don't go together. And let PCB say anything. Since 2008 and 9, India has not traveled to Pakistan. And that is because of the terrorist activities that have taken place there, the kind of situation that has prevailed in Pakistan. We had a Sri Lankan team that had gone there. It was attacked right at the airport. They had to be evacuated by choppers from the cricket ground. So the security, as far as security measure in Pakistan is concerned, it is very serious. I remember my elder brother, who was Special Director Intelligence Bureau, he had gone for a recce before India resumed after 20 years and went to Pakistan to play cricket there. So it's very rightly said that the government of India has had this policy against Pakistan that terror and talks can't go together.
So you think that India should absolutely stick to its principled stand and not go? I understand that. What do you then make of the fact that it is the ACB, sir, that gave the hosting rights to Pakistan for the Asia Cup? What explains that? When India has taken a principled stand, who's the ACB chairperson? Who's the one making calls? Jay Shah is the one making calls. Why was Pakistan given these hosting rights in the first place if India was not going to go there and play? And if India doesn't go there and play, and the ACB says, well, we are moving the tournament to UAE, Pakistan has a reason to be angry and upset.
Well, let me put it this way. I thought it was going to be the Ministry of Home Affairs or the Home Minister who would have given a statement that looking at the situation and the relations that we've had with Pakistan, the team is not going to tour. So rather than the Ministry of Home Affairs or the Home Minister saying, it was the son of the Home Minister, the prodigal son, who came out and said he won't travel to Pakistan. I think we should not burn bridges with the ICC. Let the government, these are government policies. You remember when there was apartheid in South Africa, when it was called Rhodesia, countries have completely boycotted South Africa. When the Moscow Olympics took place in 1984, the entire Western Bloc didn't go. Why? To prove a point. So certain points that have to be proven as far as Pakistan is concerned. You've seen how Hafiz Saeed has been blocked by China along with Pakistan when US and India wanted him to be considered as an international crook or a terrorist. He vetoed it and China vetoed it and stopped it. So the situation is very grave there. And rather than the chairman of the ACB coming out and blabbering out his mouth, it should be taken very seriously, not burning bridges with the ICC. He should have kept quiet and let the MHA, which rightly Anurag Thakur said, the governments in 2008 and 9, you had a UPA government, now you have an NDA government, and they have carried on with this policy, terror and talks and tours to Pakistan, sorry.
Okay, so if it is a principled stand, Mr. Kirti Azad, and just by the way, I agree with that principled stand, and that's the stand this country needs to take, given the fact that Pakistan sponsors cross-border terrorism and creates trouble in this country. But if it's a principled stand, how does it not extend to neutral venues? Why is it just for bilaterals? Why not for international cricket as well? Why play Pakistan at all? If the stand is principled, it has to be uniform.
I do agree with you, but then you have an ICC. And if Pakistan says we are not going to come to India, they might lose their membership in the International Cricket Council. So when you have these international tournaments, which are ICC tournaments, they're not bilateral tournaments between India and Pakistan. So when an ICC tournament, whether it's a T20 World Cup or a 50-over game or a test match, these are bilateral, which India can say, no, we're not going to go to Pakistan. But then when you have a test series somewhere being played between two countries, well, I can go to Australia can come here. But as far as Pakistan is concerned, like the apartheid in South Africa and like the Moscow Olympics banned by the Western Bloc, Same way India doesn't want to go to Pakistan. But you have to keep your ICC commitments, whether these 3 tournaments that are being held by ICC, we are bound by that. Otherwise, we lose the membership.
Pakistan's cricket board has said, and we've had representatives from there coming on this channel and saying, look, the country is absolutely safe. We welcome Indian cricketers. Let them come. We'll ensure that they are safe. Yes, what happened with the Sri Lankan team was unfortunate. But post that, you've had other international teams come, play on Pakistani soil, and they've been absolutely safe. Why is there a reason to believe that the Indian team will not be safe for Pakistan? It's a question that the PCB is posing.
Well, the other countries who have gone and played are not suffering from cross-border terrorism as India is. And we see that. We saw Pulwama in 2019, the way 40 of our CRP Jawans were massacred by that bomb blast, by the jihadi blast. And otherwise, too, we have been seeing terrorists, the way they've been working around and killing labours and Kashmiri Pandits and others in Jammu and Kashmir. So you obviously know that they have been promoting terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir. So looking at that, India doesn't want to have any relation with them. I mean, England doesn't have a cross-border terrorism problem with them. United States of America had. They came in to Abbottabad with their Navy SEALs, got Osama, took him from there. So that's about it.
Okay, so my last question to you is this, discounting the bombast that the PCB is showing right now, saying, oh, if India doesn't travel for the Asia Cup to Pakistan, then Pakistan will not travel to India for the World Cup in 2023. My question to you is, can the Pakistan Cricket Board, completely bankrupt, really afford to pull out of the World Cup?
Well, they're most welcome to do that. I mean, their players are always dying to come to India. They want to play here all the time. Many a times I meet many of them in England, and they are dying to be here. The commentators and others, they want to come here and play cricket. If they don't want to, good luck to them. They may lose their ICC membership.
Okay, Mr. Kirti, before I go, let me ask you, there's something called cricket diplomacy. We had someone yesterday on the show talking to us about how cricket can go a long way in trying to cool down tempers on both sides. You know, you have a bilateral that is organized. You have the prime ministers of both countries shake hands, watch the match in a friendly environment that perhaps could go some way in trying, as I said, to cool down tempers on both sides of the border, on trying to establish some degree of normalcy. Is that a view you buy? I don't particularly buy it, but as an ex-cricketer, is that a view you buy?
Well, as far as political establishment is concerned in Pakistan, especially the army, man-to-man people are very good. And we did that for so many years. I mean, there were cricket tournaments taking place. I mean, we were playing bilateral games against Pakistan. We were touring there. They were coming over to India. That was taking place. And yet terrorism carried on. So as far as man-to-man is concerned, there's nothing wrong with it. But then a strong message must go from the government, must go from India, that we are not going to play with you if you're going to carry on with terror. Because I have known personally very good friends in Pakistan. And when we go on neutral venues, we meet, we sit together, we have a drink together, we have dinner together. But when it comes to the army in Pakistan, the way they promote terrorism back home in India is something that has to be taken seriously. So man-to-man has been tried. It doesn't matter to the army. It doesn't matter to the Pakistan government as to what is happening man-to-man or whether cricket tournament is taking place or not. There was a bilateral thing when Kumble, if you remember, got 10 wickets here in Delhi. And you were having a Kargil. So when Musharraf, the dictator, was there.
True.
So we had gone there. They had come here. Kumble took 10 wickets. And then you had a Kargil. So these things have happened even while we have had man-to-man exchanges. We have had these cricket tournaments. We've had various other exchanges, cultural exchanges.
All right. We'll leave it there. Always good to have you on the show and always a pleasure, Mr. Kirti Azad, to speak to you. Thank you for joining us here on Mirror Nap. Thank you very much indeed.